everything is up and running. It's a little hard to hear me over the music. Okay, let's fix that then. Thank you for letting me know. We are trying a new means of playing the music. Something that might be a little bit easier on my computer, so it might take a little bit of troubleshooting before we are quite there. Okay, Beck Muffin says much better. Perfect. Okay, great. It's about half, so let me know if it is too quiet. Should just be nice, ambient, sort of. You can hear it, but it's not distracting. That is what we are going for. All right. Yay! So this is my second ever live play one-shot sort of stream. I'm really excited. This week's theme is very personal to me. Hi, Seer! Thanks for coming. Just going to kind of get things up and running, and then we will be off to the races, as it were, so to speak. Let's see. This is good. Okie dokie. How is everyone? I hope that you have been having a good week. I know that Purim was on Monday, or it started Monday evening as the sun set, and ended Tuesday evening, once again at sunset. So very happy Purim to everyone who celebrated. I hope that you had a fun, festive time. We're about to have a fun, festive time, just in case you missed out. But yeah, happy Purim, everyone. I myself was unfortunately super busy with doctor's appointments and other stuff, so I haven't really gotten to celebrate, but this is going to be my celebration in the best way I know how, playing Dungeons and Dragons. Back Muffin says we couldn't find any Hamantaschen. That really is a shame. We haven't had any here either yet. But I'm hoping that maybe the store will have some, or maybe we can pick up some pre-made dough and make our own without too much of a hassle. Yet. But yeah, so usually I would stream music off of a window that I had open on my browser, but this music is downloaded locally to my computer, so hopefully we'll have less interruptions. That being said, if you have any music that you either made or that you own and you want to hear it on the stream, you can feel free to send me a message and let me know. I might be able to use it, or if you just know of a place that has a lot of tracks that are available under Creative Commons license and stuff like that, that would be great too. Hi Ionith, happy Purim. Firelina, welcome. Thanks for joining us. We're just about to get started here. In fact, I think it is probably about time, so we are gonna kick things off. And just for anybody joining us for the first time who missed last week, that's perfectly okay. Like I said before, you never need to have come to a previous stream to participate or to play along with a current stream. And for those of you who are just joining us, I am going to go over the kind of introduction one more time. But let me just make sure. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. Have I cut out? Let me know if you guys can hear me or not. It looks like it might have frozen. Oh, you can still hear. Okay. So I'm not sure what's going on with this then. No, it's okay. Sometimes we have an issue with the captions. It just stopped working last week too. And we're not super sure why. Just one sec. Okay. All right. You know, I'm not gonna sweat it. I wish they were working, but I don't know what to do to fix them, unfortunately. There's nothing I can really do. It's okay. Okay, well, we'll work on that. But in the meantime, hello, welcome. My name is Deanie. I'm the head librarian here. I recognize some familiar bookworms, but for those of you just joining us, this is the Library of Lumen Ex Libris, or Light of Books. And like a lighthouse, it serves as a beacon for all those adventurers, travelers, and readers looking for a good story. Since the library exists in its own pocket dimension, it's pretty impressive that you've made it here, and a little temporal displacement on the way in isn't too surprising. That means, for some of you, the events about to come to pass have already transpired. Your present is our future. But not to worry, you can still play. Just follow along with the story and listen carefully for where the paths of fate diverge. I'll be sure to point them out. At those times, I'll give you further instructions. Oh, excellent. They're back. I'm so glad. So we have captions once again. Excellent. Now, as for the rest of you, I have another dream to show you. But as you may have guessed, the story within has faded quite a bit. Once again, I'm going to need your help bringing this tale back to life. And there are two ways you can do this. As a player, someone who takes an active role in the story by guiding a character and joining the adventure, or as a member of the chorus, where all you need to do is listen along and occasionally weigh in to help alter our hero's fates. A bit of housekeeping before we get started. Please make sure you read the rules and roleplay safety expectations on my About page before choosing to participate in this content. In addition to that, you will also find a dice roller and a dream journal. And you are welcome to play with either of them. And finally, if you want to explore the library between adventures, there's even more magic to be found at the Lumen Ex Libris Discord. You can follow the link in my bio to check it out. Okay, so with that settled, shall we turn a new page together? As some of you may know, this week was the Jewish holiday Purim. Traditionally, Purim is celebrated by eating special treats called Hamantaschen, wearing masks and costumes, and attending public parades. Personally, I grew up with the Purim spiel, or Purim play, usually comedic reading or reenactment of the main story about why the Jewish people commemorate this day. I'm getting wasted. For those of you unfamiliar with the story, I'm going to recount it for you now. In my own special way, of course. Just as a heads up, though, this story will contain mentions of nudity and executions and at least one beauty contest. And swears, of course. Inspired by a Tumblr post from around 2016. This is the Purim story with swears. Long ago, the Jewish people were exiled from Judea. For the first time, but certainly not the last. Tolkien may have written, "Not all who wander are lost," but what he could have gone on to say is, "But they may be Jewish." Anyway, so our story takes place in the Persia of antiquity, where King Ahasuerus, listen, look, guys, in all the years I have been telling this story, I have never figured out how to pronounce this guy's name. And to be honest, it is not that important, considering he's essentially the ancient Persian king equivalent of an entitled frat bro. So I'm just gonna wing it. You'll know who I mean, I promise. Thank you, Beck Muffin. Ahasuerus is one option. Okay. So King Ahasuerus is having a kingdom-wide rager, lasting 6 whole months. Importantly, King Ahasuerus also has a wife, an extremely hot wife, one of the hottest women in the entire country, in fact, and her name is Vashti. So this party's in full swing, and surprise, surprise, Bro King Ahasuerus is quite drunk. He's reached the blood alcohol level lethal to many men, especially when surrounded by a group of their peers, where they have short-circuited the single brain cell they collectively share and have started encouraging each other to perform feats of increasing danger and stupidity. In fact, we still lose many young men to this phenomena today, often their final words amounting to something along the lines of, "Bro, hold my beer and watch this." A tragedy indeed. Anyway, drunk and at the encouragement of his courtiers, King Ahasuerus calls for his queen. Vashti! Hey, Vashti! Come dance and wear your crown. And Vashti, who is busy running the party for the women at this time, mind you, is like, ugh, but fine, I guess. But then King Ahasuerus, just has to make it a little bit more annoying, go a little bit further, and adds, "And I want you to wear your crown, and only your crown." To which Vashti, 1000% done with this shit, promptly replies with divorce papers. Hey, turn-based drama. Doing the lurkin' work. I like it. You're welcome to hang out. Happy to have you. Now, because this is ancient Persia, and the better part of his decision-making skills has just divorced him, King Agriculture decides the best way to select a new wife and queen of his nation is, of course, a beauty contest. Because, obviously, I mean, who cares about compatibility or leadership skills? Anyway, let's put a pin in that. We'll circle back, I promise. And we're going to introduce our next character, Haman. Now, Haman is counselor to the king. He is also a silly three-pointed hat enthusiast, an all-around smug motherfucker. What makes him such a smug motherfucker? Honestly, it's the audacity for me. This smug motherfucker uses his authority as counselor to the king to make a law which says everyone in the country must bow down to him when he passes by because reasons. Ah, yes, I see some of you in the chat are ahead of me, and so as is tradition, whenever you hear Haman or any reference to Haman, you are welcome to spam the chat with lots of boos and jeers. We recognize a cartoon villain here, so feel free. Well, guess who's gonna have an issue with that whole bowing down thing? That's right, it's the Jews, who believe they should only bow before God. But more specifically, there is one Jew in particular who, while equally smug, is way less of a motherfucker about it. Enter our first hero, Mordecai. So Haman passes Mordecai, who of course does not lower his head and bow, and I imagine that interaction probably went something like this. Haman: that doesn't look like bowing to me. Why you no bow? Mordecai: are you God? You don't seem like God to me. I think God would have better taste in hats. So yeah, they dust it up and Haman starts plotting like a motherfucker. Mordecai knows he's up to something, but rather than being able to do anything about it himself, Mordecai instead enlists his niece, his incredibly beautiful niece. Enter our heroine, Esther. And just in time for the beauty contest to select a new queen. How convenient. I told you we would circle back. Now, Esther is even hotter than Vashti, if that's even possible. But more importantly, she's also incredibly clever and quick-witted. Esther is no fool. So King Ahasuerus immediately picks Esther because, of course, as she is the most beautiful woman in a 10,000-mile radius, TM. And he takes her to the palace where she is upgraded to the most beautiful and the most powerful woman in a 10,000-mile radius, TM. And we already know she's super smart. Hashtag triple threat, hashtag girl boss. Anyway, Haman finishes his plotting, and he's come up with a real ingenious and highly original revenge scheme to get back at Mordecai. And he's going to do this by killing all the Jews. Yet another Jewish holiday commemorating a time someone tried to kill all the Jews, but it didn't necessarily work. Shocking, I know. Unprecedented, I know. Stop me if you've heard this one. So Haman has a gallows built where he intends to have all the Jews who will not bow to him hanged. Now, Mordecai, understandably not wanting to die because he won't bow to a nerd in a funny hat, recalls that he now happens to have a niece who is, I don't know, queen of all fucking Persia? And I imagine that interaction went something like this. Mordecai: Esther, you're not gonna believe this, but some smug motherfucker is plotting to kill us all the Jews, just because of our religious views, and not at all because of things I may or may not have said about his silly hat. You have to do something. Esther: right. Well, I have a solution to this, and it involves getting naked. So Esther holds a banquet for her husband, the king, which involves a lot of sex, drinking, and good food. Now, as we have discussed, King Adahwere is a simple man with simple tastes, and he predictably gets shit-faced drunk, just as Esther had planned. While reveling in the indulgences of the banquet, making sure everything is going great, everyone's having a good time, Esther asks a very important favor of her new husband, who is inclined to give her anything she wants at this point. At this point. But what Esther wants is simple. Esther asks him to vow to always protect her from those who would kill her or cause her harm. Weird, but okay. King Ahasuerus agrees immediately and makes the unbreakable promise to always protect Esther, who ends the evening's festivities with an invitation to another banquet the following night. Now, King Fratbro over here, having likely just had the best night of his entire life, eagerly shows up for the second banquet, only to discover that Esther has also invited Haman? The king thinks to himself, well, I never imagined this particular threesome. But life is a rich tapestry. And the banquet begins as planned. Now, props to our king for the first time ever, perhaps. He is not even gonna balk at seeing his advisor at this raunchy banquet, but I digress. As the banquet carries on, eventually Esther gets up and asks her husband. She says, "You know how you promised to protect me from anyone who would kill me? Well, what if I told you I knew a guy who would do that?" And King Ahasuerus, whose problem-solving repertoire contains exactly 2 methods, opts for violence over another beauty pageant and answers, "Well, I would definitely kill that guy for you." And so Esther replies, "Great, cool. She's walking around the banquet hall. "And what if I told you," she says, "that this is the guy?" And she points directly at Haman, where he is seated at the table. Esther wastes no time and reveals that she is, in fact, a Jew, and that since Haman is plotting to kill all the Jews, he is, in fact, plotting to kill her by extension. So the king, left to choose between honoring his vow to his incredibly hot wife or some smug motherfucker with a silly hat, orders Haman to be hanged on the very gallows he had built to kill all the Jews. Doing nothing to help his smugness, but in a poetic twist, Mordecai is instated as the new counselor to the king. At which point he declares that henceforth the anniversary of that time we were almost killed again will be celebrated every year forever with dressing up and making fun of Haman by eating Hamantaschen, little 3-pointed cookies that represent his silly hat. And the celebration will be known as Purim. And so that is the Purim spiel, the Purim tale with swears that I like to tell. Slightly abbreviated version there. But the gist is the same. Now, this is where the paths of fate diverge. For all of my time travelers who are following along in the future, head over to the Discord and find the Dream Journal text channel, or feel free to use the tile on my About page, also called the Dream Journal, to answer this question. We all grew up with stories passed down from previous generations. Folklore, superstitions, or even just family legends that feel larger than life. They're a great way to celebrate our heritage and honor those who came before us. So tell me a story you grew up with. It can be that time your uncle caught the biggest fish, and I mean the biggest. Or it can be a legend or bit of mythology from your culture. Anything that you kind of grew up hearing. Feel free to tell us about. I would love to hear it. For everyone else, it's time for our players. Now, I have allocated 3 slots for players today. That is the sort of limit that I am able to accommodate. But fear not, if you do not manage to snag a spot as a player, you can still follow along as a member of the chorus, and you will be able to participate that way. So if you are wanting to be a player, you are going to have to head over to the Discord, potentially, where there is a channel called a character gallery. And pinned to that channel are several character sheets. You can feel free to grab any of them that you want. No experience required. I am going to hold your hand through this whole thing and make sure that you are always kind of knowing what to do. So no issues. Any experience level is welcome. The only thing that I am going to request, usually I wouldn't do this, but in this particular instance, we did make a character sheet specifically for tonight. That is the princess. If you are wanting to play the princess, which it looks like we got Beck Muffin as a volunteer. So I am going to tell you specifically what role I had in mind for her, but you are welcome to for any of the other people who are wanting to be players, you can bring your own character, level 3, or you can pick any of the other characters that I have on the Discord. So it is time for our first player, our first character to be introduced. You can't believe what you're hearing. You've been an adventurer for years now. You're a seasoned professional. And yet your boss at the Adventurers Guild has just given you your strangest assignment yet. They've gotten wind of an evil cult dedicated to resurrecting an ancient evil wizard. Long ago, the wizard was defeated in a battle of wits by a wise and powerful queen. Apparently, the wizard and his cult have vowed revenge against the queen's successor, and they are finally ready to carry out their dark ritual. It should be a pretty straightforward protection gig. Watch out for some princess until she can be crowned queen, whatever. But here's the catch. This kingdom has a very unique way of selecting their next queen. That's right. It's a beauty pageant. See, I told you we would circle back again. And despite the threats, the king refuses to postpone the pageant. Now it's your job to protect the contestants and future queen, and stop the evil cult without disrupting the pageant. This isn't going to be easy, but you're starting to get an idea. So, who wants to be our first adventurer here? You can use any character but the princess. I'm holding her back for a little bit later, but anyone can feel free to use any character sheet for this character slot. Um, Eonith, is that what you're thinking here? All right. Heck yeah. Okay. So enter our second character. You can't believe what you're hearing. You've been an adventurer for a couple years now. You're still relatively new, yet your aunt, uncle, non-binary parent, sibling, whatever, has just proposed that you go undercover as a contestant in a beauty pageant to select the next queen. This is nuts. You're an adventurer, not some porcelain doll to be dressed up and trotted about like a show dog. But lives are at stake, and you're the only one for the job. How hard could it be? Once again, this is a spot that's open for anybody to use any character of any gender. Not specific to having to be like a niece or anything like that. It could be anything or anybody. And finally, player 3, this is going to be our princess character sheet. So I think Beck Muffin has already volunteered for this slot. Beck Muffin, you can't believe what you're hearing. You've been queen for a few years now, beautiful and poised. You've finally had enough of the king's foolishness and divorced him. Good riddance. Now, some adventurer and his niece or nephew or non-binary siblings kid have come to you asking that you turn this sow's ear into a silk purse, as it were. Well, honey, you've seen worse, but not by much. It's gonna take every trick in your playbook and some magic to boot to pull off this ruse. But it's a matter of life and death, and as the former queen, you can't stand by and do nothing while the future queen and other contestants are in danger. You've got considerable skills and an unyielding sense of integrity, but will it be enough? So, now would be a good time to download that character sheet off of the Discord, or if you're bringing one from home, as it were, get that fired up. I think we have Eonith taking the role of our seasoned veteran adventurer. So we are having one slot open for the niece or nephew or the less experienced adventurer. All right, Eonith says, I would like to play the Pinned Paladin. By all means, you should be able to download that character sheet right off of the Discord. And at the very end of it, there should be a description of all of the feats and all of the abilities that I have included there. If you have any questions about it, feel free to let me know at any point. But like I said, we're gonna go through this in a very simplified manner, and I am going to walk you through everything, so no worries if you ever are confused. So for the time being, it looks like our second character slot is going to just be botted, so I'm going to just run it. What do we want as a placeholder name for our niece, nephew, slash just like less experienced adventurer? Just something to hold the place in case anybody comes in later and wants to play, but still have to refer to them as something. So just as a reminder, you can offer any name you want, or you can volunteer the handle of somebody else in chat. I'll kind of pick the best one, or whichever one I think will fit. Beck Muffin says Kayla. And Eonith says, if I was good at names, I wouldn't need to use a name generator. True. Key to Life Seconds Kayla. I love it. I think we're gonna go ahead and lock it in. So our lovely characters, let's give them lots of love and shout outs and support in the chat, is going to be Ioneth, playing the role of our seasoned adventurer. And he is going to be using the Paladin character sheet off of the Discord. We have an opening in case anybody joins us later and wants to take over. We're going to call her Kayla. And she is going to be our niece or our nephew, our less experienced adventurer. And finally, we have Beck Muffin, who is going to be playing the role of our princess, or the former queen, who has stepped down. She has been enlisted to help Ioneth and Kayla get through this beauty pageant so that they can protect the contestants from this cult that has vowed revenge. So let's get started here. Gonna bring us over to the play screen. All right. I know that not everything is super visible. I'm gonna explain it, and then I'll move the page around so that you guys can see everything. But the beauty pageant is underway as we begin here, and you are going to have to participate in 3 rounds, and we're going to have to work together to get Kayla through all 3 rounds so that she can stay close to the contestants and guard them. This first round is modeling. And so you find yourself in a large open theater that has multiple tiers to it, and a stage that the audience is excitedly gathered around with rapt attention. For the modeling competition, this kingdom has a very specific tradition when it comes to modeling, in that they have a set library of poses, and these poses are all named after animals. So I kind of have a little picture here on the side. Those of you who might be sort of familiar with yoga, kind of inspiration here, but so there are things like birds and snakes and cats and other animals that make up this library of poses. And I've listed all of the animals on the screen for you here. So you can have that as a reference. But in order to model for the judges, you are going to be able to pick 5 poses, and you can put them in any order you want, any arrangement you want. But Beck Muffin, as the former queen and a professional princess, you have this insight that there are going to be certain poses and certain combinations of poses that are more pleasing to the judges than others. And what you're looking at right now is our esteemed panel of judges. There are 5 of them. And Beck Muffin, you are going to be keeping your eye on them, because you know that their expressions will change based on the poses. So if a judge sees a pose that they really like, their expression will change from neutral to surprised. And I will pull the little surprised emoji down. That means that of the 5 poses you've selected, at least one of them is appealing to this judge, but not necessarily in the order that it is in. Now, if you pick a pose that is both appealing to the judge and in the ideal order, their expression will turn into a smiley face, and I will drag it down next to their little icon. If your judge is smiling, this means that the pose and the order that that pose is in are both ideal, and you are going to get the max score from that judge. Now, there might need to be some trial and error here. That is fine. You can take multiple walks down the catwalk, as it were, trying multiple combinations of poses until you get, the highest score possible or please all of the judges. But remember, this is kind of a group of the king's courtiers, and they're not exactly known for their patience. So the longer the round drags on, the lower the scores will be. So to get the maximum score and guarantee getting Kayla through to the next round, you're going to want to strike that perfect pose combination as quickly as possible, and make the judges very happy, please the crowd, and show that you are sort of the top model, as it were. Beck Muffin says, I don't feel confident. That is totally okay. Because you can always ask for help from the chorus. So for all of our viewers, anybody who is listening along, if you want to ask for help from them, you are more than welcome to. Now, in addition to that, you can also ask me for help in the form of making some knowledge, wisdom, or sort of insight checks. And I'm going to explain how those work. So, on your character sheet, and for anybody who's not too familiar, we're using D&D 5e, that's Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. And on the character sheet, you'll see a box that is labeled skills. And there's a list of them present. Now, each of them is going to come with a score. That score is going to be how good or bad at that skill your character is. So the higher the score, the more likely you are to succeed, the better at that you are. For our players, if you are struggling with a puzzle, but your character is a smart cookie or a very insightful person, and you think that they would have a better chance of figuring this out than you would, you can make a knowledge check, which is broken down into a couple categories on the skill sheet. These have to do with religion, nature, medicine, history, arcana. And what you would do is roll a d20 or a 20-sided dice, add your score of whatever that skill is, and that result is going to determine how much information or how many hints I can give you to help you crack that puzzle or solve the problem. And that mechanically is going to account for the fact that your character might have insights or knowledge that you as the player do not have. So to give you a kind of an idea, in this instance, a knowledge check would be feasible. And that could either be one of the ones that I listed off here, or if you go over to your abilities, you have intelligence, and you could just use straight up your intelligence and whatever the score on that is. There's also insight, which is based on wisdom. That could be very useful for kind of getting an insight into the judges or the crowd of what they're looking for. And that is based on wisdom, like I said. There's also charisma, which potentially could be used here in the form of a performance check, where we would say that your performance was so charismatic that you managed to get some insight or some advantage in the competition. Now, like I said, you can do multiple iterations. You get multiple chances to try it out and try different combinations of poses. The idea is just to try and get the best combination you can as quickly as possible. And like I said, you've got these are the names of the poses at the bottom here. Let me scroll a little bit so you can see them better. But as you can see, we have antelope, bear, cat, camel, dingo, eagle, fox, gecko, horse, ibis, jellyfish, kinkajou, I couldn't resist, lion, nightingale, otter, python, quetzal, rooster, scorpion, turtle, umbrella bird, viper, wolf, scene, yak, and zebra. Backpack Muffin says Kinky Jew. Yep. Becca says, does anyone recognize me? Like, am I in disguise? If you want to be, you can be. That certainly could give you some sneak potential. You could sneak around. Or if you wanted to be recognized on purpose, you could use your influence as the former queen to kind of perhaps sway the other contestants or the judges. It's totally up to you. So ultimately we are looking for you to come up with some combination of 5 of these poses and see how the judges react. So Iona says, will we be able to watch the judges' reactions to other contestants? Yes, you certainly can. I think that with Beck Muffin's reputation and her prestige, a lot of the other contestants are probably looking up to her. And so if she wants to let some other contestants go first, I think she can definitely sort of encourage them along those lines. And you guys can let me know what combinations of poses you want them to use. Backpack Muffin says, I'm not sure whether being associated with the former queen would be good for Kayla's chances or not. The former queen was beautiful and, very successful as queen. She just had enough of the king's foolishness and decided that there was better things for her to apply her talents to. So I would say that she is very beloved by the people, and she's very talented at being a queen or a princess, as it were. Beck Muffin says, can I do an insight check for that? See how people are feeling about me? Absolutely. So you would go ahead and roll a d20. You can use the dice roller on the page, or you can use your own dice at home, since I know that a lot of us like the sensory experience of rolling dice. And you're going to add your insight modifier from your character sheet to whatever you roll, and let me know what that score ultimately is. Ian says, unfortunately, I've lost every die I've ever owned. Aw. Beck Muffin for 25. Amazing. Yeah, so, Beck Muffin, you are maybe backstage, kind of at the staging area where Kayla and a lot of the other contestants are quickly getting ready, putting on makeup, doing their hair, putting on their outfits, practicing their poses. And you quickly do a kind of a sweep of backstage and the audience waiting ahead of you, and get a general sense that everybody is very eager. They're very excited for this spectacle, and a lot of them have heard that the famous and sort of beloved and beautiful former queen Beck Muffin is going to be participating in some way or supporting one of the candidates. And so there is an extra sort of energy to the crowd as they eagerly kind of await what is going to happen. In terms of Beck Muffin, so beautiful, so talented, so charismatic. We love her. You definitely know that, you take a look at those judges, and I think that former Queen Beck Muffin, now Princess Beck Muffin, has a pretty good idea. That the judges, these particular judges in particular, they like a spectacle. They're not going to be wanting to see any repetition. So out of the 5 poses, that you are going to want 5 unique ones, and not to repeat any of them. Like I said, they're kind of have neutral expressions at the moment, not really giving anything away. But the moment they see a pose that they like, their expressions will change to that of interest. And I will indicate that with the little surprise face emoji. And as soon as they see a pose that they like, that is in the order they like it in, so to speak, their expression will change to a smiley. They will be very happy, and that will be the maximum amount of points awarded. And like I said, you can take multiple cracks at it, but you will get a higher score for sort of figuring out the best combination as quickly as possible, and as few iterations. Beck Muffin says, I'm thinking of observing a different contestant with random poses to get some groundwork, maybe. Yeah, certainly possible. Okay. So you guys want to just pick some poses at random? Why don't you just pick out 5 for me and type that in the chat, and that will be the order they are presented in, and I will unveil the reaction then. I am bad at decisions. Neth, you're welcome to pick, or the chorus. If you guys want to allow the chorus to weigh in and potentially suggest 5 or an order, that's also welcome. You guys are welcome to do that. Totally up to you. But I will say that when I was growing up, I had this book of animals that was, it was a children's picture book. So it was one animal for like every letter of the alphabet. And I know some of them are a bit trickier than others. But a Quetzal was one of the animals that used to be in this book, and it is a beautiful sort of green bird that has a long, colorful tail, and it's a tropical variety. I think it's native to South America. And Azim is also known as Sabine's gull. It's a little sort of seagull type bird. Okay, Key to Life says she's gonna want a fox in there somewhere. So, shocking no one. It sounds like we're gonna have a fox in the lineup. So we just need 4 more animals. And Ioneth, just feel free to type those out to me, and I will put those in order for our first contestant. All right. So let me go ahead and we are going to go text. Nope, I want text. There we go. And our first one is Bear. So I'm going to type these up. And I'll move it in a second. I know it's not super visible at the moment. Bear, eagle, fox, nightingale, and I'm sorry, I know my chibi is in the way. I'll try to move her somewhere a little bit easier to be less blocking. But nightingale, and last but not least is, oh, sorry, my bad, kinkajou, and then nightingale. So let me kinkajou, and then let me go ahead and move those over. So nightingale is last. Here we go. And kinkajou is 4th. Oops. Okay. Let me just double check. Bear, eagle, fox, kinkajou, nightingale, kinky. Okay. So just want to make sure that I have your suggestion correct. So the first contestant, I think she's a little starstruck. She's a little, she just can't believe that she's in the same room as, or in the presence of, the Princess Beck Muffin, and her beautiful visage and her aura of nobility. And so Beck Muffin kind of, walks up to her and suggests, like, I think you should go first. I think you really are ready to go. And she eagerly struts her stuff onto the runway and strikes these poses, the bear pose first. And the first judge kind of nods but keeps a neutral expression. She immediately moves into eagle pose. And the second judge nods along, but he is not swayed. The third pose that she moves into, the fox pose, and the third judge nods along appreciatively. And finally, she moves into her finishing pose, the nightingale, and the final judge kind of nods along, but does not otherwise react. And as soon as she finishes with her final pose, she turns and walks off the runway. So to help us kind of keep track of everything, I'm going to just grab these and move them down. I know that they're not very visible here, but I'm just going to put them down here so you guys can see what you have already tried. Fox, Kinkajou, and nightingale. And so none of those poses got any kind of reaction from our judges. And remember, you are looking for a surprise face, which means that it is the pose that they are looking for, but not in the right order, or a smiley face, which means it is the right pose and in the right order. But that is the first round, or rather the first contestant to walk the runway. Oh yeah, heaven forbid I forget the Kinkajou. I would never do that. So made sure to put that on there. But yeah, they were all neutral. I wouldn't know. What is this wordle of which you speak? Sounds like some strange salad, maybe from a country I'm not familiar with. Beck Muffin says she is way more confident now. That is good to hear. Excellent. But yeah, so you can send out another contestant if you are not quite ready to send Kayla out yet, or if you think you're gonna rack up some points, you can send Kayla out. Totally up to you. But give me those next 5 poses that you want to use. Eonin says, I think we should try to convince another test subject. Certainly. There are more contestants nervously waiting in the wings. You are more than welcome to urge another one of them to take their next turn. But yeah, no, Beck Muffin Princess, if you want to walk up to kind of the next candidate, the next contestant who is nervously sort of fiddling with her makeup, and sort of do the same thing, just say, hey, you're ready to go. You've got this. There's no way you don't got this. And she sort of, is very encouraged by that and struts her stuff out onto the runway, and strikes these poses. What poses is she going to pick, though? Famous last words. No, that's fine. I'm sorry, so excuse me. Key to Life says, here is what y'all had last time. Right. Thank you, Key. And they're also, let me scroll down. They're on the bottom. Your previous choices are also down here on the bottom. And they were all neutral expressions, no reaction from the judges. When you do make a guess that does get a reaction from the judge, I will make sure to indicate that with what that reaction was when I put it down here. Okay, Ionith says, for our next iteration, rooster, antelope, dingo, ibis, otter. Interesting. So let me make sure that I put that in. We have, make sure that I am in the text. And we are looking at rooster, antelope, oops, antelope, dingo, ibis, and otter. Did it not? Okay. There we go. And I will switch over to my little grabby grab for the reactions. Oops. So that contestant struts out onto stage, and the very first pose she strikes is the rooster pose, and the crowd oohs and ahs, and the first judge sort of sits up and takes notice. He doesn't crack a smile per se, but he clearly is interested. And you see, his kind of surprised face. So we are gonna go ahead and move our little surprised emoji down here, so that we are keeping track. Next, our contestant moves into her second pose, a graceful Leith antelope pose. And even though it is quite lovely and graceful, and the crowd seems quite pleased, the second judge does not react. His face just remains schooled, his expression neutral. The contestant moves into the dingo pose, a kind of more whimsical pose. And the second judge kind of is appreciative but remains neutral. The contestant moves into the ibis pose, though, and the fourth judge is enchanted. He is, not only does he immediately sit up and take notice, but he even begins to crack a smile. This is clearly a very pleasing pose and order for this particular judge. So I'm going to come over here, and we're going to update him with a little smile emoji. And finally, the candidate moves into her final pose, the otter pose, and the last judge is looking intently, but his expression remains very cool and very neutral, and he does not react. And that is the last pose for this contestant. She sort of bows to the audience and to the judges before making her way off stage. Oh, and Key to Life, thank you. She has updated the list in the chat, and I too am going to transfer this list down below here so that it is we can refer to it, but it is out of the way. So we have the rooster here. Whoops. I just want to grab it. Is in the first position, and that got you a surprise face. The judge really was shocked by that one. Next was the antelope, which had no reaction. The dingo, which had no reaction. The ibis, which got a big response. The judge very much liked this one and even smiled. And then the otter, who once again we had no reaction from the judge. And just to reiterate, the surprise response, so the shocked face from the judge, is to indicate that they liked the pose, but it just was out of order for them. And the smiling face, the smile reaction, means that it was perfect. It was the perfect pose and in the perfect order for them. Oh, I'm so sorry. I am seeing now that I am missing an animal from the box. I'm terrible. I'm so sorry. Mongoose should be on the list. Thank you for pointing that out. Let me fix that. I'm so sorry. It's in my notebook. I just never transcribed it over when I made this piece. So let me type that up. And then fix this. So this should be otter, python. There we go. Okay. Once again, so sorry. Thank you so much for pointing that out, Key, or whoever was the first. I think Beck Muffin might have. But yeah. Like I said, when I was a kid, I had this little picture book that had an animal for every letter of the alphabet. And I just loved that book so much. It was, I think, a pop-up book, and so it had little like things that you could do with each animal. Really fun. Okay, so Beck Muffin says, send Kayla out for her first go with python, umbrella bird, rooster, ibis, mongoose. So you are getting Kayla ready. She is an adventurer primarily. This is her first time ever doing anything related to you know, the arts. And so she's nervous. Eoneth, Beck Muffin, how are you going to help her make sure that she is confident and performs well? Tell me what you would do, and then give me a roll, and I will let you guys decide whether or not this is a charisma type roll, or perhaps even a performance of your own, because you're like aiding Kayla's performance. And then just let me know what you get. And while you do that, I am going to update this. Let's see. Beck Muffin says, how about a pep talk? Girl, you look amazing. As an adventurer, you know how to move your body how you want to. You're gonna hit every pose perfectly. I love a good pep talk right before I'm about to do anything in front of an audience. I get so shy. Beck Muffin also says 10 plus 6 for 16. I think that is perfectly acceptable for a rousing, motivational speech. Kayla, bolstered by your words, struts out onto the runway, and she hits these poses. Python, like a coiled snake. Umbrella bird, standing regally and gracefully, even in a deluge. Rooster, proud and ostentatious. The ibis, slender and graceful. And finally, the mongoose, unassuming in silhouette, but fierce. And the judges love it. All of them break into a wide smile, and the crowd goes wild, cheering and clapping and carrying on. This was the perfect combination in the perfect order to highlight and show off the stellar qualities of a beauty pageant contestant. And so, with the highest possible score, Kayla is absolutely advancing to the next round. Ianeth says, I require more frozen margarita, and we'll be back in 20 seconds. Okay. You take your time. You get those margaritas. For everyone else, this is actually perfect timing, because this is where the paths of fate diverge. For those time travelers playing along from the future, now is the time, once again, answer these questions. What's another combination of poses that you think would please the judges? Remember that we are looking for 5 poses in a specific order that you think the judges would like. You can refer to them by their animal names, or you can simply use the first initial from their names, and I will know what you mean. Now, as an extra bonus, if you want, describe, illustrate, or maybe even take a selfie in a pose inspired by one of the animals listed. This is going to require that you be in the Discord if you are wanting to post an illustration or a selfie. But, whatever your level of comfort is and however you want to participate, I would love to hear about or see some of these as poses. The jellyfish in particular, I would love to see. So, as a little bonus mission, if you will, pick any of the animals and come up with an actual pose. All right, it looks like Ioneth is back. So after the modeling round, was a big hit. Kayla is through to the next round. It is time for a more recent addition to the pageants, the interview. And this is a win. I think that this is maybe something that maybe Beck Muffin, had a hand in helping sort of create, but now they are interested in what contestants actually have to say. And each contestant is going to get the chance to answer 3 questions. But this is a pageant, sort of a popularity contest, not really a good time to write your memoirs. So contestants try to give answers that they think will be more popular with the audience, rather than necessarily what they think the true answer is. So, the goal of the interview round, Beck Muffin knows, is to come up with replies that are the most popular with the audience, And the more popular that those replies are, the higher the score will be. Since there are 2 of you, I will let you give 2 answers to each question. And once you give the sort of answers, I will assign the scores that go with those answers. And we will see if Kayla can get a high enough score to advance to the next round. And so you can answer these in any order you want. They're not numbered or anything, but for Kayla's personal interview questions, they are on the board. But I think that just like with the previous round, if Beck Muffin wants to kind of try and encourage other contestants to go first, you certainly can. And I will kind of report what those scores are. And in fact, I think one contestant is going first. She walks up, to the interview where there are some comfy sort of throne-like chairs set aside, and there is a bard who is sort of in charge of hosting the interviews and stuff for the audience. And he turns to the contestant and says, "What would you describe as the perfect date?" And the contestant, she's a young woman with light-colored hair. She kind of thinks about it for a moment before saying, April 25th. Not too hot, not too cold, and all you need is a light jacket. She smiles and the audience laughs and claps. And they carry on with their interview until it is time for Kayla's turn. For Kayla's round, you're going to have to answer these 3 questions, or rather respond to these 3 prompts. Name a reason to celebrate a party. Tell me a country where you think the men are sexier than American men. Or perhaps people are sexier. And other than feet, name something that runs. And like I said, the goal is to come up with answers that are going to be popular with the audience. The more popular the answer is, the more of a point value will be associated with that answer. And we are looking for Kayla to hit a target popularity to advance to the next round. She does not have to be first or get the highest score. She just has to be high enough to make the cut. So if you want to do what you did in the last round and let a couple other contestants go first and see what their scores are, you certainly can do so. But you're going to tell me what their guesses are still. And I will report back what the score is associated with them. Iona, thinking strategically, maybe we should send some contestants out first. Seems to be some agreement there. Alright, so they're gonna potentially send another contestant first. But what do you want that contestant answers to be. I will say, if it helps, that I did not come up with these questions or the answers or the point values associated with these answers. They are true to scale, let's say, for your average American audience, I would say. So you're not necessarily trying to get into my head about what I think would be the most popular answer, but rather what you think a general audience of American viewers might answer. Deliberation is going on. I kind of feel like this could be fun to set up as a 2-part puzzle / poll, maybe get more interaction. So not for this session, but in the future, maybe I could pose these questions or similar questions on the Discord, and then assign the point values for them based on y'all's responses. So the popular opinion would be swayed towards our community and what we think our community members like, and how they think. So that could be a fun twist that we could take with this puzzle in the future. If we want to bring it back, and we can come up with our own questions. They can be related to D&D or fantasy, or we could have fun with these pre-existing questions. It's open. I see more deliberation is going on. When you both are ready, simply respond to in the chat by saying what your answers are going to be and who is going to be giving them, whether it's Kayla or you're going to send another one of the contestants. Mm-hmm. Looks like we maybe have reached a consensus. Okay, like I said, just summarize for me what the responses are and who is giving them, and I will let you know. Okay. All right. So Ionith says another contestant is going to go out and she's going to answer graduation, America, and a car. Okay. So kind of like before, to help keep track, I am going to just write directly on the sheet here, and I will put the score, as it were. So the first answer the other contestant gives is graduation. And that is worth 32 points. The second answer was America. And that is worth 0 points. And then finally, we have a car. And that is worth 24 points. Oops. Okay, great. So you send this first contestant out, Princess Beck Muffin kind of says, "Hey, you got this. You're ready. Go on out there." And so she sort of takes a deep breath and struts out onto stage and takes a seat on these at these thrones, and she replies to these questions from the interviewer, and keeping a very close eye on the crowd. You guys kind of watch for their reactions and how popular they think that response was, and ultimately Graduation and The Car seem to be big hits with the crowd. America, not so much. So that first contestant is going to get 56 points. So that is a pretty good score, with Graduation and Car being pretty well received by the audience. Yeah, Kitu Life, good answer. Good answer. Beck Muffin got some strategizing. Eona. Sounds like there's got some agreement. All right. So, Eona asking, are we sending Kayla with Birthday, Italy, and Car? And Beck Muffin confirms. Okay. So next up, you feel like you've gotten a pretty good understanding of like the crowd's mood, what they are feeling tonight, and very first response she goes up with is Birthday, which people are nodding along. Of course. That one is very well received. At 34 points. Next up, a country where you think men are sexier than American men. We have Italy, and it is known for being quite a romantic place. The audience appreciates and nods along, and that one is 35 points. And something other than feet, that runs. Kayla says, what was that last one? I think it was still going with car. Yep, car once again. And that is, as we saw, but wait, why am I typing again? As we know, that's 24 points. So the crowd loves all of these responses, and that is going to put Kayla into the lead. And I will say that her response has included two of the most popular, and of the three of them, they're all within the top two in terms of the popularity with the audience, which safely secures Kayla's position in the qualifiers to move on to the next round. For fun, some other responses that the candidates give. The next most popular reason to celebrate a party is weddings, followed by winter holiday, which I think is sort of a non-denominational sort of Christmas, Yule, Hanukkah, winter celebration. Funnily enough, the next one is bar and bat mitzvahs. And the last one is hen or stag nights, or aka bachelorette parties. For the second question, Italy was the first most popular response, but some of the other candidates, as they go through the interview, give varying results. The next most popular is France, followed by Australia, England, Spain, Brazil, Ireland, and Norway. Way to go, Brazil, being the only country from South America to place. Represent. And for the third question, the top number one answer was water for 37 points, followed by an engine or car, either of those, or this is considered the same, followed by a refrigerator. So I know that there was some discussion of that in the chat. Next was noses, your runny nose, followed by pantyhose and a clock. Now is also a good time for our time travelers. This is where the paths of fate diverge. Like I said, get in the Discord or on the tile on my page and name something from each round that our heroes didn't guess. So I just listed some of the most popular ones, but see if you can come up with something that qualifies, but is a little weirder, a little stranger, a little bit more unique. Sort of going for the opposite, and see what you can come up with. I'm curious. As for everybody else, we are going to move into the third and final round. And also Luna says hi. Hello, Luna. The talent competition, where contestants are going to be expected to perform some skill or art that sets them apart from the others. But I think now is also a good time for a little break. So I'm gonna put you on the BRB screen, and I will be right back. Grab a snack, grab a drink, pet your dog, get a stretch, do what you gotta do. Now's the time. Okay, I'm back. Thanks for being patient, hanging in there. Oh, now you're working. So we are moving on to the third and final round of the pageant. This is the talent portion. And for this portion, the king has arranged for a massive round sort of stage, stadium to be set up so that a huge crowd of onlookers can gather in the stands to watch the amazing talents of the various contestants who are competing. Not knowing who was going to pick what, I just grabbed the character icons for all of the pre-made characters that I have. So rather than traditional tokens like you would normally see, we are gonna have the icons that I used when I made the characters on their sheets. So we have the Phoenix representing the Warlock. My Genshin Impact girlies will recognize Beidou. She is representing the Paladin. We have the sort of noble woman holding a sword that is representing the princess. And down here at the bottom, the bard with the instrument and the magic book is, of course, our bard. And I'm going to be using these, if not literally, to just represent figuratively where character positions are on the map, in case we need such a thing. So anyway, the stage is set in this large sort of theater, this large coliseum, where there are cheering crowds of people who have gathered to watch some incredible talents. And a lot of the contestants sing or dance, but some of them show off some pretty unique talents. Some of them have archery skills or equestrian skills, horsemanship, that they are able to show off in this large arena. This is sort of the last qualifying ground before the end, and it's not as critical, but it's still important that Kayla make a good showing. So first and foremost, since Kayla is being coached by Eonith and Beck Muffin, what talent do you think you would advise for Kayla? This can be a talent that you really have, or just something that you think would wow the judges. It can be something fantastical, or it can be something a little bit more mundane that you just think is really impressive. But what talent is Kayla going to use to participate in this round? Beck Muffin says, I need to make this joke, but if it was Kayla, my sister, her talent is snark. Absolutely. absolutely the snarkiest. But it's probably a good sign. She's witty. Oh, Beck Muffin saying maybe cooking. That would certainly be unique and kind of set her apart from the others. Oh, Beck Muffin is asking the chorus if they have any input. Yeah, Q2 Life says good answer. Keeping with her role from the last round, the last challenge. All right. So I think Kayla is going to step out into the arena and show off some cooking skills. Maybe doing a little impromptu kind of fantasy cooking show. Give me an idea of what this is gonna be like. Yeah, Beck shows off our wifely skills. Ew. But what is this going to be like? You can either kind of roll on your D20 and we'll make this like a performance check, or you can just kind of talk to me about it. You know, Beck Moment says like Taco from TV. Yeah, exactly. Hopefully less poisoning though. Yeah, so like I said, you can either roll or you can tell me, you can just talk me through it, talk me through the details. Yeah, I think you can control everything. You can choose the dish, you can choose how you want to plate it. You can pick all your spices, everything you want to include. But it says, don't ask me about plating. All right. He says, my idea of plating is putting everything on the plate in roughly the order it was made. Key2 Life and I have been watching a lot of competition shows, of which there are many, but cooking shows in particular kind of get their own category because there's a lot more diversity of cooking shows than kind of other crafts. So we both have become pseudo experts at judging fancy cooking and crafts of various varieties. Iona says, I'd have to say chicken makhni. I'm so sorry if I'm saying that incorrectly. I'm going to go with makhni. Ooh, and Beck Muffin says with challah for dipping instead of naan. Yes. Oh, good. Okay, I got it. And it says it's type of curry. You don't have to go into as much detail as the recipe. Just kind of give us a walkthrough of this performance. Follow your heart. He says, there are no amounts, though, because amounts are for cowards. Follow your heart. I think Kayla says that while performing. I think it's perhaps going to go on to be the catchphrase of her famous cooking show. Amounts are for cowards. Follow your heart. Sizzle it up with Kayla. I need an apron that says that. If we ever get to the point where the channel is large enough that it warrants a merch shop, we absolutely will have an apron that says that. Ooh, sweet pizza. That sounds amazing. So versatile. Pizza dough with chocolate and strawberries is the best. That sounds amazing. I feel like it's almost like a crepe, but with pizza dough instead. Could even do it with like some ricotta cheese. I love ricotta cheese. We can think about food a lot. Yeah. Okay. True. So now that we're all good and hungry, I hope everybody has snacks at least. Kayla is giving this performance. Which one, just for the sake of having the token, which token shall we use for Kayla? The Phoenix and the Princess are already going to be Eoneth and Beck Muffin, but the Bard or the Paladin, or no, rather the Paladin is Eoneth, so the Phoenix and the Bard are still available. Which one should we pick for Kayla? And then and so I think Kayla has like a cooking station kind of built for her in the center of this arena. Okay, do the Bard. I'm on the wrong layer. Oh no, I'm not. Okay, I just don't have the right thing selected. That's what it is. So we'll move her to the center stage. As she has probably like a counter with maybe some magical heating elements and some pots and pans and everything ready to go. And she does a demonstration. She cooks everything, and the audience is loving it. They are so quiet as they are paying attention to her, and they laugh when she tells little jokes. They ooh and ah, when she does some impressive knife work, or a big moment on a heating element. And the aroma is incredible. The food smells great. And of course, at the very end, the best part is she can serve it up to sort of the king and the courtiers, the judges, so that they can taste her amazing creation. And it's all going really well. But as soon as the king is kind of delivered his plate, and he takes his first bite, before he can even really react, a shadow encompasses the stadium, the entire auditorium goes dim, and before people can react, a booming voice echoes throughout the space. You fools! You dare carry on with the pageant even once we threatened revenge. Now you will face our wrath. And appearing as if by magic, is a couple of cultists wearing wizard robes, and behind them, the ancient wizard himself, wearing a silly three-pointed hat. The cultists in unison say, our time is now. You and everyone today will feel our revenge. And we are going to enter initiative. So for those of you who don't know, initiative is kind of like bullet time. It is slow motion, if you will. We are going to break actions down into little, like 6 to 10 second increments and take turns based on a character's speed or dexterity. So, our players, go ahead and roll a 20-sided dice. Add your modifier located at the top of the page and give me that score. Also, hi Toiletier. Welcome in. So it looks like Ioneth has a 12. Beck Muffin is a 9. And I will roll for Kayla and our cultists. Thank you, Toiletier. Okay, here's my d20, and I'm also gonna need a d4. Note to self, we could have taken these out ahead of time, but no. Where would be the fun in that? So, okay, so that is gonna be Kayla doing good with an 18. Our first cultist, let's see how quick on the draw they are. That is gonna be a 13. 20 for them. And the Hamantashen wizard himself. Not so good. Slow. He just got resurrected. It's a little, he's still warming up. So our final turn order will be our cultist, then Kayla, then our second cultist, followed by Ioneth, and then Beck Muffin, And then going last is the Hamantashen Wizard. Okay. Iona says, resurrection sickness is rough. True. I am just going to quickly go on to the overlay so that I can move these onto the active layer, token layer, so I can move them around freely, and then we will go back to the token layer. More insider Roll20, if you will. So our first cultist here is going to target Kayla, since she is down in the center of the ring here. He is going to try to get her with Eldritch Blast. Oof, that is going to hit. And that is for... if I could just find a D10, that would be great. I have a bunch of dice in my dice bag. All kicking around. 9. Okay, here we go. Oh, that's not good. That is a 9 plus 3. That's 12. So, I am gonna record the damage over here. It's 12 points of damage for Kayla right off the bat here as our first cultist launches a volley of Eldritch Blast, this horrible, malicious magic is just launched towards Kayla, and she's kind of probably taken a bit by surprise. She can't quite react quickly enough, and is gonna get hit by that. But luckily it is Kayla's turn next. So she is gonna get to respond immediately, as it were. And just as a reminder for the people who don't know, let me go ahead and get the bard out here. I'm sorry, it's taking a bit to load. It's not wanting to behave, so maybe I will not be able to show it, but it is on the Discord. So if you are curious, and do want to see the bard's actual character sheet, it is pinned to the character gallery in the Discord. So you will have to check it out there, or check out the video of me building her, if you're really inclined. But she's gonna go next. She's gonna get up in melee range with her movement speed. That is not an issue at all. And she is going to attack our cultist over here, kind of tit for tat, and that is going to be a 14. That does hit. And she's going to do 5 points of damage. Did not roll very high for her. I'm sorry. But next in the order is the second cultist, and that's gonna be this guy down here. And he is going to cast a spell to kind of help out his allies, make it a little bit harder to function. So he's going to cast Fog Cloud, which is going to kind of obscure the area directly around them. And any spell that requires line of sight, you are not going to be able to cast, and target enemies in the cloud, until it dissipates, or until something kind of blows it away. That is going to be what he does. Ioneth, you're up. Kayla has just entered the fray, been attacked by this cultist. You are going to have a movement score on your character sheet at the top, and that is going to show you how many feet you can go without using dash. If you want to dash, you can double that, but that will be all you can do, as you're kind of spending all of your energy just running as fast as you can. In addition to that, you have some attack options. You are playing as the paladin, if I remember correctly. So you have some pretty strong kind of melee options at your disposal. I think that you can probably within one round get in melee distance if you want. Ioneth says, I want to just get as close as possible without dashing first. Okay. So for the sake of being visible on the screen, I have kind of increased the size of everything, so the scaling is not like 1-to-1. We're going to play a little fast and loose, but let's see what the scale on this is. So they're going to say that it is about 45 feet if you want to get in. I'm going to say that because of, like I said, because of the scaling, like this is at 50% zoom, and the characters are a little bit different. Your range is probably 35 or to 30. I think you can get within range. Like we'll triage the extra 10 feet. So let me grab my mouse again, select and move. So our paladin rushes in. I'll let you decide where you wanna square up. You can so technically you would be like sharing the square with Kayla, but you can do that with a friendly person, or you could kind of come to like the side of her, sort of flanking her, I think. Yeah. Okay, kind of in the middle there is what I was thinking. Flanking is fine. Okay, cool. So yeah, you run out into the center of the arena, which is turned into a real arena now, and have taken up position next to Kayla, to face these foes. Okay, Key to Life. Key to Life is going on a side quest. Make sure you bring us back good loot. All right. Iona says, I think I'm going to channel divinity and issue the Captain's Challenge. Just target every enemy. Okay. So the Captain's Challenge is kind of like a compel duel. It's basically to draw aggro from the enemies. Ionith, is there a save against that? I don't have the sheet open. But that was silly of me. I probably should have. Next time. I'm still getting the hang of it. I actually also have it. Oh yeah, so why don't you just let me know. It's a wisdom saving throw. Okay. So they are going to try and save against it. That is a 13 minus 1. So that is a 12, and then the wizard himself. Let's see if he can make it. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. So the Hamantashen wizard, he is going to make the save, but his two underlings, they are not that wise in that they have summoned an evil Hamantashen wizard. So they are both going to fall prey to the Captain's Challenge, and just to Hamantashen wizard by any chance a fiend? Yes, he is certainly a being no longer of this realm. He was defeated and vanquished by a queen from long ago, and it is only through some fiendish power and influence that his followers, all these years later, have managed to resurrect him in some form. Next, so that is going to be Iana's turn. Next up is Beck Muffin. Iona can still stab someone. I'm so sorry. Absolutely. I would love for you to stab someone. That's what we're here for. So just go ahead and tell me who you are targeting. And roll that attack for me. You absolutely may. I love that for you. I think that is a great move. Hey, the dice are a cruel and fickle mistress, and we can only ask so much of them. So a 9. That is not gonna hit, the cultist AC, which is their armor class. And so those dodgy fellows, they are just gonna quickly kind of slide out of the way and slip past you on this attack. But Keto Life, would you like a s'mores or a roasty marshy? No, thank you. I'm all right. Okay. So I think that should be the end of Iona's turn then. Yeah, I'm assuming. Okay. So yeah, Beck Muffin, you are up. Okay, so Kayla, if you remember, she has taken quite a hit when she first sort of took to the field. 12 points of damage, so she is in rough shape. She only has about 5 HP. Rolled real good on that. Yeah, most of your spells, the range is 60 feet. So you can reach her. You might need to approach a little bit, just because you are at a slight disadvantage with the fog cloud that the other cultist kind of summoned. But it's a touch delivery spell, so I think that you actually have that extra ability where you can dash and still take another action. Okay, so the princess, I'm so sorry, is a little weird. Your healing is going to be in your features, which is at the very last page, where it kind of explains all of them. And you've got like a couple different buffs and debuffs. But I believe your healing ability is going to come from I believe it was called the Inspiring Touch. You also have the option to grant Heroism, which gives a temporary HP pool. But just to sort of be a refresher, Inspiring Touch, you gain a pool of hit points that you can heal using this touch equal to your levels in Princess times 5. You are 5th level, so you have 25 hit points to play with there. As an action, you can touch a creature and instill a portion of this special healing, or all of it at your choice. Creatures who have less than 1 hit point cannot receive healing from you in this way. And you cannot use it to heal yourself. But yeah, so if you want to use that to deliver some healing, you absolutely can. But yeah, you're going to have to get up close and personal. So we will scoot the princess right on over. Now you're still relatively safe. Ionath used the ability that kind of forces the two underling cultists to target the paladin instead. Okay. Inspiring touch to heal Kayla for 6 points. All right, excellent. So we are going to reduce this down to 6. There we go. Yeah, so Beck Muffin, having seen Kayla take that hit, rushes to her aid, and using her princessly aura, she's able to bestow this healing touch that kind of grants Kayla some magical healing, and she is restored for 6 HP. Okay. So that is the end of Beck Muffin's turn. And finally, it is the turn of our Hamantashen wizard. He is very arrogant, very mad at having been defeated, and so he is going to channel that vengeance into an Eldritch Blast, kind of like his underling, and that is a 15 to hit. I think that he is going to, even though he did not fail the save per se, I think he is still going to target our captain, our paladin here in the middle, as the greatest threat, but that is not going to hit the AC there. So tank's gonna tank. What you gonna do? But he is very tricky. He has a multi-attack ability, or the ability to do several actions in one turn. But he's I like that resurrection hangover. He is going to not necessarily have a great control over his magic, and so I am gonna roll on a table a d10, and whatever we get is gonna be kind of his magic for the turn, the misfire, with the potential to misfire. Ooh, interesting. So he is going to use a custom magic ability. He is so arrogant, he is so full of himself, that he has a special ability where he can force a target to bow to him. And I think he is still going to be targeting Ioneth there in the center. So make a wisdom saving throw for me. That is going to be roll a 20-sided die, add your wisdom modifier, and let me know what that result is. As he kind of points at Ioneth and says, "How dare you defy me? Me, the Hamantashen wizard!" Oh, nice! And that's a nat 20 for Ioneth. Absolutely fucking unacceptable. I love it. I think that not only does Ioneth resist this, which is appropriate since Ioneth is standing in for our modern day Mordecai, but I think that with the nat 20, this actually rebounds. And whereas the fail would have caused Ioneth to have to go prone, our Hamantashen wizard This spell rebounds so badly that he is also now prone, and so he cannot move. He will have to spend his movement standing up. You also have advantage to attack him, I believe, as he is literally like on the ground. And that's going to be our first round. Back to the top of the order, we have our first cultist. And they are under the effects of the captain's challenge, so they have disadvantage on trying to hit anyone but Ioneth. So I think they are going to do just that, and they're going to attempt it at least. We'll see how they do. Oh, okay, maybe. Our first one gets very lucky with a not natural, but a modified 21. So I think that is going to actually do it. And our cultists, they're a little one note, but hey, it gets the job done. He is going to move in with that Eldritch Blast. So that is going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to be 8 points of damage to Ioneth. Now, the captain is special in that they do have a reaction available called Hellish Rebuke. You can force any target that has hit you and caused you damage to make a saving throw or take lightning damage. Believe there is a limit to how many times you can do this per day. But it's not on the sheet, so we'll say you can do it a number of times per day. Unless is it a spell slot ability? Yeah, we'll say you can do it with relation to your wisdom modifier, maybe. All right. Ioneth says, "Have at ye. Hellish Rebuke it is." So they get to try to save against that. Let's see if they can do it. Oh no, that's a 3. That's not gonna do it. So Ioneth, you can, and if you need me to do this for you, I can do it on screen, if you like, but you are going to get to do 3d10 plus 3 lightning damage as you, like, how dare this upstart even think to damage you? If you, like I said, if you don't have those dice on hand or you don't want to look up a dice roller, I can do it for you on screen. But either way, just let me know either what you get or if you want me to go ahead and roll it for you on Roll20. All right. Whew. Oh my goodness, 20 points of damage. We love to see it. That is exactly enough. This cultist, he shrieks as he is zapped with this blast of electricity, sort of in like a divine retribution for having dared to harm Ioneth. And he is going to fall and be defeated. So we are going to sort of, let's see, what's more satisfying? I feel like deleting him isn't quite as satisfying as, like, maybe just kind of freehand, like a little, like, womp womp. Womp womp. There we go. So that cultist is downed by his own folly. Next up is Kayla. And let's see. She is still kind of rough. She's doing a little bit better now that she's got some healing from Beck Muffin. But I think that she is probably going to use some magic here. I wonder if there's anything that she could use to sort of push this fog cloud away. Let's see, she has Shatter. Make a Constitution saving throw. No, I don't think that's gonna help us really. Okay, so you know what? She's gonna pass that healing along. She's gonna cast Cure Wounds on Ioneth, who just took a bit of a hit there. So that is 1d8 plus your spellcasting ability modifier. So 1d8. Okay, that's 3. And her spellcasting ability modifier is 5. So that's going to be 8. So Ioneth, you are going to take back 8 HP for your grievances. And then I not remember to update your HP on your little circle tracker, so just let me know where you're at when you get a chance. But that is going to be Kayla's turn, and next is going to be the second cultist again, and they are going to drop their concentration on the fog spell anyway because they are going to attack Ioneth. Okay, so you're at full. Great. Let's see if they can hit it. It's gonna be 12 unmodified, but with the modifier, that is gonna be 16. A 16, while pretty good, is not enough to hit Ioneth's armor class, and so they launch that Eldritch Blast, and that horrible kind of malicious magic streams out and tries to strike Ioneth, but it is insufficient to hit the mighty captain, he says. That is correct. Can't get it done. And it is in fact Ioneth's turn. So you are up. Just as a reminder, the Hamantashen wizard is prone, and the little cultist at the bottom here has not taken any damage. Oh, quick question, okay? I'm all ears. Haishan's Wrath. I love it. Yes, that is a melee weapon. So that is a magical greatsword made from the body of a sea monster that the captain felled during her adventures. And so it is imbued with sort of lightning magic. Beck Muffin says, that's sick. We had some fun. We had some fun making the captain. is in the dumb hat. All right. I love it. I think that means that Ionith is stepping up and gonna. Yep. You have advantage because the Hamantashen wizard is prone because their spell rebounded. So for those of you who don't know, advantage is when you roll your d20 twice, and you're going to take the better of the two rolls. And as a best practice, if you roll the first one, and even if it's a success and it's good enough, you still want to go ahead and roll the second one because there's always a chance it could be better, or you could crit, and that would be even better. So you always take that second roll anyway. And Ionith is back. It says a 13 plus 5, so an 18. That absolutely hits. With our wizard, tend to be pretty squishy in terms of their armor capacity. So go ahead and let's break this down. Can your lightning vaporize his hat? You know, I'm gonna say this is extremely possible. Personally offends me. We're gonna specify hat damage is being done here. All right, 12 for damage, and then I'm gonna smite. We love to see it. Just a reminder for everybody, who maybe didn't catch it before, these characters that Ionith and Beck Muffin are using can be found on the Discord pinned to the character gallery channel. If you want to see the PDFs and check them out, there are some homebrew elements to both of them. So if you hear a feat or something that you're not familiar with, go ahead and check those out. You might find the answers to your questions there. Ionith says, and he's a fiend, so I get a bonus D8. Yeah. Uh-huh. Oh, yeah. For those of you who would rather have a sort of more in-depth view into how I made these characters and what those homebrew elements are, there's also a couple videos on my channel called Character Crafting, where I, talk through my decision-making processes and read over the various class options to make my final choices. So if you're interested in sort of seeing how that process played out, you're more than welcome to check out those videos too. Ionith says that is another 18 then, made up for the low damage from the hit with some good damage here. Yeah, this is basically a lightning strike. That is exactly right. I believe that is going to bring us to 30. And that damage was high. That was quite good. I think that is going to be plenty to vaporize this stupid hat. Beck Muffin says, lightning smiting Haman is so good. I activate my plan to vaporize the hat. The hat is no more. Yeah, the hat in particular takes the brunt of the damage and vaporizes into smithereens. Haman is looking rough. The Hamantashen wizard is looking pretty burnt around the edges. Not having a good day since coming back. Beck Muffin, you are up then. So you just delivered some good healing to Kayla there during your last turn. Ooh, and this time she's gonna take the offensive. So Beck Muffin coming in with Vicious Mockery on the Hamantashen wizard. I love that for you. Vicious Mockery is a spell or spell-like ability that we're in this case, where you unleash a string of insults laced with subtle enchantments at a creature you can see within range. If the target can hear you, though it need not understand you, it must succeed a wisdom saving throw or take 1d4 psychic damage and have disadvantage on the next attack roll it makes before the end of its next turn. And the spell's damage increases by 1d4 when you reach 5th level, so that is going to be 2d4 because you are a princess of higher level. So gonna go ahead and make that a wisdom save. The Hamantashen wizard is looking for a 14 here. That is going to be a 9, so that is not going to do it. Beck Muffin, not required, but always appreciated. Why don't you, if you feel so inclined, break us off a sample of what sort of insults or mockery you would implement here against the Hamantashen wizard. Because they're so devastating. And then also go ahead and roll that damage for us. So at your level, that is going to be 2d4 damage, psychic damage. Beck Muffin hurls at him. Enjoy being defeated by 2 Jewish princesses, asshole. Your hat is dumb and so are you. Amazing. It's devastating. The crowd goes wild. They love it. Key to life. Yeah, in the chorus, exactly. Scream, yeah! Was. Amazing. I love this banter. But yeah, go ahead and roll damage for us. That's 2d4. Or if you want, I can roll it on screen. Oh, 2 4s, max damage. Amazing. Truly, a win for the Jewish people everywhere. Whoops. Not 338, we are 38. There we go. Update that there. Nice. Alright, and that's going to give him disadvantage on his next attack as he is so morally devastated by this sick burn that he can't even get himself together. That's totally okay. So for your For your damage, yeah, you're gonna have your spell casting sort of ability enhance your damage that you're doing there. Did I not? Oh, I didn't. Okay. I tried to put all of your spells kind of together for you. I'll go back in and make sure that I sort of make an updated sheet that has the spell damage included as well. So your spell attack bonus is when you are targeting something with a spell that has an attack roll. This spell had a saving throw instead. So the Hamantashen wizard was trying to beat a 14, which is your spell save DC. If you had instead been like attacking him, you would have added 6 to your chances to hit. Yeah, so no, we're looking good so far. All right. So unless you have a bonus action you want to take, I think that is going to be your turn. Or you can also take the move action if you want to go anywhere else. But otherwise, it is the Hamantashen himself's turn. And I mean, he's going to have to spend one of his actions just trying to stand up from being prone. So that is his movement there. Oh yeah, he's looking rough. His silly hat has been vaporized. There's maybe like a little cloud of smoke like coming up off of his head from being struck by lightning. He's a little singed around the edges, a little crispy crunchety. Not having a great time. Not at all. But it is his turn, so he's gonna get up, and I think he is going to hope for the best in terms of his magic effects. But he is going to target, let's see, what can he do? He has Eldritch Blast. Yeah. He's not under the effects of the Captain's Challenge. He actually managed to save that well, so I think he is going to target Beck Muffin there because he has the range for it. That is going to be an 8 plus 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. On his first go. And then he's going to get a slight bonus to that. 15. So yeah, he is going to shoot an Eldritch Blast, just barely hitting Beck Muffin's AC, and the tie goes to the runner. And what that means is that as a DM, my house rule is that if there's ever a tie, whoever the challenger is gonna, be favored. So unfortunately, in this instance, it's going to be the Eldritch Blast here. And let's go ahead and roll damage on that. That is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's going to be 11 points of damage. As kind of enraged and by these comments, he stands up and sends this blast of magic hurtling towards you. And that's going to be his entire turn. He's not going to be able to to take any other moves because he had to do this. He had to stand up. Oh, no, but he gets his magic effect. Okay, so roll a d10 and see what he's going to do. Oh, interesting. This is going to be fun. So I get to pick a target of the three of you. Number 1. His magic kind of goes awry, and he is not, he's got that resurrection hangover. Beck Muffin, you feel yourself after you take this damage. You feel a buoyancy kind of fill you as you begin to gently float. You are under the effects of the levitate spell for this round. As his magic sort of short circuits. Next up is Kayla. Kayla has she has spell slots left. She could either heal, since you guys are close enough together. Let's see. She could also use her Tales from the Beyond, but let's see. I think that probably Ioneth's turn is better spent in melee. So I think that since she still has the spell slots available, she's gonna use another one on another Cure Wounds on Beck Muffin, but she's gonna have to catch Beck Muffin first. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll. I think this would be potentially athletics, as she's gonna try, or maybe even dexterity as like a kind of reaction. Yeah, let's go dexterity, because she has a proficiency on saving throws there. And let's see if she can catch her. Oh, okay. That's a 17 plus 3 is a 20, so it's not natural, but absolutely a success. So as Beck Muffin begins to float away, Kayla immediately turns around and grabs her, snatches her by the ankle like a Beck Muffin royal balloon of some sort, before strumming her instrument or channeling her magical foci on another use of Cure Wounds. So I believe that is another d8 plus 5. So that is for 10 points of healing. Beck Muffin says, Kayla would drag me down. Aw. Or keep you grounded, whatever you want to phrase it. But yeah, you're going to have heal for 10 points as she kind of indicates to Ioneth, I got her. Not gonna let her float away. Next up is the cultist, the one still alive. And he's gonna step 2. He's gonna try and get a little cute. He draws a wicked looking dagger from his belt, very occult looking, very ceremonial, as it is intricately crafted. And let's see if he can do it. That is going to be a 16 to hit, which I think does not hit our paladin's armor class. So the fool rushes in for a quick jab with this dagger, only for it to glance off of our paladin's armor and not hit. All right. Ioneth, you're up. You are next. Insert smugness here. Very appropriate. Very appropriate smugness. Yeah, tank. What can I say? Tank's gonna tank. Lightning sword. I love it. Are we going for the Hamantashen wizard, who is looking rough, or the cultist who, dared have the audacity? And you can just tell me who you want to target and roll damage, roll to hit. All right. Eonith says the cultist can wallow in not being worth the actions to counterattack. All right, so go ahead and roll. 14, unfortunately, does not hit our Hamantashen wizard. He is burnt to a crisp. He's got little vapors kind of coming up off of him, and maybe his hair is all standing on end from being zapped, but he manages to dodge at the last second from this, unlike the lightning, from this strike. So yeah, unless you've got a bonus action or a reaction to use, that is going to be the end. Or you want to move, that is going to be the end of Eoneth's turn, and it is back to Beck Muffin. of Agathis would do. Like I said, this is just a slight customization, modification, but I'm going to mark it that you are armored. Beck Muffin is here for the Spectral Sea Monsters. Yeah, okay, so that ends Iona's turn. Beck Muffin, you are up. What is our princess going to do? Got a lot of sort of interesting options with the princess. Yeah, you absolutely can if you want to try to target him. Figured as an elfin princess, you which is what the build technically is. Makes sense. Longbow, that tracks. All right. So you are targeting the Hamantashen Wizard. Go ahead and roll a d20. And then on your character sheet, you get to add your attack bonus, which for Longbow is 5. Because the princess gets to use her wisdom rather than strength. And go ahead and let me know what you get. Oh my goodness, and it's a crit. All right, that's absolutely a hit. Roll damage. That's going to be 1d10 plus 2, and you can double it for being a crit. So you can either roll the dice twice, or if you want, you could just double, take whatever you get and double it. But that is going to be the total damage. So I think that Beck Muffin just channels the focus and the intent of generations worth of queens and princesses, who are always having to stand up and stop wizards like the Hamantashen Wizard, who would abuse their power to harm others. Is that an 8? Okay, so I'm assuming that's 4 from your bonus, and then probably a 2. So let's go ahead and do that. With an 8, that would bring us to 56, and that, I believe, no, I did that wrong. Yeah, no, it would be 46. But it definitely is clear of what we needed. Beck Muffin just draws her bow, and takes aim, and like a precision shot, she strikes in exactly the weakest point. The Hamantashen Wizard at his center, at his core. He may be sort of dry and flaky on the outside, but on the inside is a gooey core. And Beck Muffin just hits perfectly on this weak spot, and that is also where his spell casting foci is located. And it shatters into a million pieces as the arrow strikes true. And the Hamantashen Wizard shrieks Not again! As he is defeated by another clever queen or princess for the second time. And so he is not even going to take his turn. That is going to end him. Next up is Kayla. Eoneth says, BRB. Okie dokie. Going on a side quest. That is going to end the Hamantajan wizard, send him back from whence he came, as it were. But there is one cultist left who is still standing, and even though Beck says, what flavor? I need to know. I'm thinking raspberry. That is what I had in mind when I pulled the picture, but yeah, judge him further. Exactly, drag him. So there is one cultist remaining, and despite the odds not looking good for him, he is still standing. Kayla is up, and I think that she is I think that she is just going to try and help out, maybe give some guidance, as it were. She's been being guided by Eoneth and Beck Muffin this whole time, but I think that she's going to kind of return the favor and use her abilities. So Eoneth, if they can hear me or when they come back, we'll let them know that you can add a D4 to the result of a roll before knowing the results, but just as in case the roll is kind of low, just to get that extra boost. That's going to be Kayla's turn. Next up would be Eoneth, but I don't know if he's back yet, so we'll just wait. Beck Muffin says, ugh, the best one. He may have shit taste in hats, but he does have good taste in gooey core flavors. I mean, that's the catch of using your villain to inspire your delicious treats. You run the risk of, like, if they're really good, it accidentally kind of is unfortunate. Yeah, okay, no problem. He's stepped away for a moment. That's a-okay. Just gonna have to remember that he gets that extra D4. You're fine. Welcome back. So Kayla has cast guidance on you. So you can add a D4 to your roll. And Eonin says we're going to be keeping it simple, attacking the remaining cultist. I like it. So roll to hit, roll that D20, and roll a D4 and add that to the score to hit. Ooh, an 18. That's absolutely gonna hit. Go ahead and roll damage. Yep, this guy is Doesn't know when to give it up. 12 points of damage. Incredible. Hachimachi. Oh, and smite. And smite. Let's pause for smite. Pausing for smite. Oof. All right. Believe. Our last cultist just does not know when to quit, does not know when to give up. Takes that brutal hit from our paladin and absorbs 24 points of damage. So from 0 to 60 real quick for this guy. He looks rough, extremely haggard, barely still kind of upright. Beck Muffin, can you finish him off? Can you bring us home here? Just a little bit more damage. Oh, hell yeah. Let's war fan it up. All right. So the princess has a custom weapon list. And one of the items on it is the war fan, which I think is extremely fun. Oh yeah, that's a hit. 19 plus 6. Absolutely. Go ahead and roll damage for me. Oh, hell yeah. Okay. That's literally what you needed, and you got it. So Beck Muffin draws her princessly war fan and finishes off this final cultist with a flick of the wrist, a swish of her fan, and the final cultist is defeated. The crowd goes absolutely wild. They have been watching this whole thing play out with rapt attention, and now the cheering and clapping and celebrating is just fulfilling the stadium. For the sort of the last time tonight, for my time travelers, now is the time. This is a point where the paths of fate diverge. Head to the Discord, to the Dream Journal channel there, or use the one on my about page. Either way, go ahead and respond to this prompt. Tell me about your talents. Until they were so rudely interrupted by the Hamantashen wizard and his entourage, our heroes were in the middle of a talent show. So go ahead and tell me what you're good at, what you would put forward in a talent competition. And if you're on the Discord, you could even show me, post a picture or a link to a file or a video or anything you want to show off your talent. I would love to see it, and I'm sure that everybody else would too. And back to our players. Congratulations on defeating the wicked Hamantashen wizard and his evil cult. In light of the attack, the king, he gathers his counselors together, And I think they collectively decide that perhaps a beauty pageant isn't like the ideal way to select a member of the government, but they decide to keep the pageant since it was such a big hit with the crowd. It is just no longer going to be selecting the next queen. Having spent some time with the other candidates, Kayla and Ioneth and Beck Muffin really got to know them, and Beck Muffin even encouraged a few of them during the earlier rounds. And so a few days pass, and the hubbub surrounding the pageant and the drama of the cult are starting to fade a little bit. Things are going back to normal. And one of the contestants, one of the princesses that was competing alongside you all and Kayla, reaches out. She sends you a message saying, hey, there actually is something has come up, and we need you to come back. We need to have a meeting. Something important has come up. And this is very unexpected, but of course you are not going to ignore a request from one of the candidates, one of the princesses. And so Ioneth, Beck Muffin, and Kayla make their way to the appointed place at the appointed time. Sort of a fancy kind of meeting hall where all of the other contestants that were participating in the pageant have gathered, and they're expecting it to be some sort of serious, what's the situation, what's going on, and sort of before they can get too far in, one of the contestants goes to the front of the room and calls for silence. She waves her hands in the air and says, ladies, all right, hush now. I need your attention. And she says, we all are talented and strong in our own ways. Whether your skills lie in arts, sciences, or athletic pursuits, we're all talented in our own way. And the beauty pageant, is maybe a celebration of all things beautiful and lovely, but let's not forget that it is also a celebration of all of us who've come together to compete. And while she may not have won the competition, while she may not be a princess like the rest of us, I think that we all can agree that Ioneth, Beck Muffin, and Kayla have all won our hearts in their own special way. So the winner for Miss Congeniality is going to go to them. And so she kind of beckons all of you up to the front of the room. Everyone is clapping. They produce these beautiful sashes that are made out of a very fine silk, and they've been embroidered with these beautiful designs, probably by hand by some of the princesses that competed. And they all say congeniality on them. These sashes are a magic item called the Sash of Congeniality, and wearing it will not occupy an armor slot, but it will grant you +1 charisma and +1 to your AC. So if you come play again, you can hang on to this equipment and equip your character with it, if you so choose. Backpack Muffin says, "Look at me winning the beauty competition twice. Oh, wink wink." Amazing. Yeah. So everybody is clapping and celebrating. And I'm sure there is plenty of free food to go around, as everybody is just grateful to you and for protecting them from the wicked Hamantashen wizard and their evil cult. And that brings us to the end of our Purim themed adventure. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that everybody listening along had a lot of fun, and I hope that my time travelers, get a kick out of the sort of challenges and the questions moving forward. And of course, we are going to be moving on to another story, another dream, when next we meet. And as usual, these are all little self-contained stories. There's no continuity between them, so you are more than welcome to skip or join without having any kind of previous understanding. Oh, Backpack Muffin says she had fun. I'm so glad. And yeah, I'm also glad that you got to participate in making that character sheet. I think you did a great job. Yeah, great, Eon. I'm so glad. I want to thank everybody so much for coming. Let's get us back to our chatting screen. I want to thank any of my followers who are in the audience. Thank you so much for your support. Of course, I want to thank our wonderful librarians, our mods, for coming all the way from their home dimensions to keep us all safe on our adventures. We have Seer, who is another streamer, and she's incredible. Oh, thank you. Key to Life just gave her a shout out. Check her out. In addition, we have Key to Life, the one, the only, the incredible Kitsune herself, visiting us from her magical woods. She's incredible. She's my favorite streamer of all time. Absolutely check her out if you get a chance. And if you had fun, hanging out with us tonight, chances are you're gonna fit right in. It's Seer and Key to Life's streams, where they're also very cozy and chill and fun, just like hanging out with your friends, playing video games. It's a good time. And just as a reminder, if you want to join us in the Discord, it's the place where I'm going to post updates. You're going to see sort of behind the scenes, little insider stuff about my prep work as I go forward with writing the one-shots. There's lots of fun bots there. So definitely, if you are so inclined, come hang out with us. The link is, of course, in my bio. I am going to look for someone for us to raid. If you want to stick around for that, I highly encourage it. But feel free to use the raid message from the chat. I think Key to Life will get that up for y'all in just a sec. So I'm gonna look for someone let's see who is on. Okay. So not particularly related to what we were doing, but Big Bad Dirty Dog is live, and it looks like he's also doing some viewer participation. So that could be fun. So we're gonna try that. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I know how to do this. And then at. Dog. Nope, that says Sog. Dog. I hope this is right. Okay, wait. Let me just make sure. It's not spelled kind of weird. No, it's just normal. Okay. Okay, so that would be ring. Okay. Okay, I think that should do it. So you guys are gonna be in good hands. And finally, every story we write is a dream we share. It is the rhythmic breathing we recognize in the dark. You are here. You are enough. Breathe. Until next time, everyone.